watching Fox 13, and the 11 o'clock news starts now.
He told me he couldn't believe what was happening, but he was okay.
Right now at 11, a deadly natural disaster as an earthquake hits Haiti, and now local crews are on the ground to help.
This sudden collapse in less than 3 days has been absolutely shocking.
Afghanistan war veterans are stunned and in a state of disbelief as they watch the land they protected fall quickly to the Taliban.
My body, my choice.
You got to do it for everybody else.
And tensions flare at dueling rallies over vaccine mandates, and the violence escalates when a demonstrator is stabbed. Good evening, everyone. I'm Linda Hurtado. Lloyd and Haley have the night off. We begin with the aftermath of a powerful earthquake in Haiti. The death toll following a 7.2 magnitude quake in Haiti yesterday, rising to nearly 1,300. Rescuers are racing to find survivors as a tropical storm approaches the island nation. The devastation hits close to home as many Haitians in Tampa Bay are still waiting to hear from their loved ones. Fox 13's Justin Matthews spoke to a woman whose husband was on the island and felt the shaking as the earthquake struck. While Haiti is trying to recover from a devastating earthquake, they are also facing a threat from severe weather. Tropical Depression Grace is moving through the Caribbean right now, bringing heavy rainfall. Haiti and the Dominican Republic are expected to get up to 8 inches of rain. Well, now to Afghanistan, where a dire situation is unfolding. The Afghan government is collapsing as the Taliban gain more territory in that region. The Taliban has taken control of Afghanistan's capital of Kabul. The militants stormed the presidential palace not long after the Afghan president fled. A spokesperson for the group says they aim to form an open and inclusive Islamic government. The U.S. is now sending more than 6,000 troops to help evacuate American citizens and allies to the United States.
Events are moving so quickly, but job number one is for us to bring back first all American personnel and help them make sure they get out safely. But second, all of the brave Afghans who helped our military, they have to be provided an exit to come to America.
Well, all this comes as the U.S. withdrew troops in an effort to end America's longest war. A U.S. top general believes the U.S. could face terrorism threats with the Taliban in control. But the Secretary of State says it's not in our nation's best interest to prolong the battle in Afghanistan. And he says the U.S. is in a much better position than before 9/11.
The group that attacked us has been dramatically diminished. Its capacity to attack us again from Afghanistan, dramatically diminished. Our ability to see if it reemerges and our capacity to do something about that is very strong. As a strategic matter, there is nothing that our strategic competitors would like more than to see us bogged down and mired in Afghanistan for another 5, 10, 20 years.
Former President Trump began withdrawing troops at the end of his term. A retired lieutenant general believes fewer troops on the ground may have hindered intelligence efforts that would have given more insight into how the terrorists would perform. A member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee says lawmakers plan to shift their focus to intelligence and counterterrorism once evacuations are complete. For veterans here in the Bay Area, watching in disbelief as the Taliban takes over, many are feeling betrayed. Fox 13's Jordan Bowen spoke with an Army veteran, and he joins us live in Tampa. So, Jordan, what is he saying about what's going on?
Well, Linda, as James Rosone puts it, it's difficult for anyone to watch, but especially tough for veterans. Many of them have dedicated years of their life to fighting for their country, only to see all their hard work being wiped out. Linda?
All right, Jordan, and that website is fox13news.com. Thank you. Well, new at 11, 3 people are back on dry land after their boat took on water near the St. Pete Pier. The Coast Guard says the boaters used red flares to indicate they were in distress yesterday. Everyone on that boat was rescued and no one was hurt. That's good news. Well, for 6 weeks now, there's been a national push to get the COVID-19 shot out to the Latino population in the Bay Area by fighting fiction with facts. Today, Unitas US continued their efforts out of a flea market in Lakeland. As Fox 13's Elizabeth Fry explains, you won't find these tents in traditional locations. A clash between anti-vaccine and counter-protesters turns violent in Los Angeles. Police say a man was stabbed in a heated exchange. Fox's Jessica O has the latest on the chaotic scene. At this point, police say they're still trying to figure out who's responsible for the stabbing. The world's largest solar-powered battery is being created right here in Florida. How it's helping one of the state's electric providers reduce its carbon footprint. And Tyler is here. So Fred, was not much of a problem for us. What can we expect for the work week?
Yes, more showers coming our way overnight, especially near the coast, Linda. More of that in the morning as well. We got some decent rain chances the next couple days. A lot of heat later in the week. We'll show you the 7-day in just a minute.
Well, this is being called the world's largest solar-powered battery. It sits on a piece of property in Manatee County, owned by Florida Power and Light. Crews are busy working to assemble the remaining pieces right now, and when it turns on, FP&L says it will mark the beginning of a major push toward renewable energy. Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon gives us a look. Construction on the battery started in 2019. It's expected to be in operation by the end of the year.
Cool.
Okay, Tyler, for all those folks who are hoping that maybe we'd go back to the regular pattern, you know, sunshine most of the day.
Yeah.
And then thunderstorms.
And then those big thunderstorms. Had that all last week, right? Every single day is like 4 or 5 o'clock. You could count on it. Big storms on our west coast. Looks like we'll get back to that by the middle of the week. But even then, looks like some drier air might cut down our rain chance towards Wednesday and Thursday. So kind of ups and downs in the 7-day forecast. This weekend, it's been all about tracking Fred. Remember, yesterday it dissipated, reformed this morning, and it's been about 200 miles off our west coast, paralleling itself up the west coast towards the Panhandle throughout the day today. 81 in downtown Tampa. The storm is far enough away that there's virtually no impacts here, folks. I mean, we've gotten some light to moderate rainfall in our southern counties at times, a little bit heavier, but it's essentially all been rain near the coastline. Had a couple of storms further inland today, but with a storm this far away, you're just not going to get any sort of wind or surge or anything like that, but they will get it up in northwest Florida. Tropical storm warnings out for most of the coastline of the Panhandle back in Panama City and places like Destin, Navarre Beach, Apalachicola. All will get some storm surge, and I think rain is going to be a big time issue for them. Could see 4 to 8 inches widespread with isolated amounts up towards a foot or so. That's a lot of rain in a short period of time coming up on Monday. All the heavy rain now is well to our west out of the Gulf, and for us just a couple spotty showers near the coastline. We'll likely get a little bit more regenerating itself overnight, but finally some breaks after pretty much an all-day kind of light rain falling in places like Venice and Northport and Englewood. Sarasota's quieting down, Bradenton as well. A little light rain around St. Pete, but overall pretty quiet. Winds, as I said, definitely manageable, just a little breezy near the coast. You got a 16-mile-an-hour wind in St. Pete, 12 in Clearwater. Had a couple gusts up around 20, 25 earlier today, but we could certainly take that. We get worse in our typical afternoon storms. 79 in Wesley Chapel now, 81 in St. Pete. Going to be a slow cool down tonight. Got a lot of southwesterly flow, a lot of moisture in the air. It's kind of muggy, and it's not going to cool down much more overnight. A couple coastal showers overnight. Some of this thunderstorm action just off our coast early tomorrow morning through about lunchtime. Could be a bit heavier. That will fade, and then almost a west-southwest wind pattern where everything quiets down at the coast, and you get some scattered storms popping up near our inland spots tomorrow afternoon and evening. Do it all over again on Tuesday. So Monday and Tuesday about the same with some coastal morning showers, followed by inland afternoon and evening thunderstorms. So there's Fred, there's Grace. Got a new area to watch near Bermuda. That'll become Henry most likely over the next 2 or 3 days. For us, it's all about watching Grace as it moves through the northern Caribbean. This is not good with more rain headed for the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Almost a similar track that Fred just took a few days ago. Likely going to stay a very weak system as it moves west-northwest through Haiti and Cuba and Dominican Republic. And then once it gets into the Gulf, it'll have a window for some strengthening, but model guidance at this point, at least in terms of track, in very good agreement that it stays away from us and moves over towards the western Gulf. 78 tonight, periods of rain near the coastline overnight. We'll get some scattered showers in the morning near the coast, followed by scattered afternoon and evening storms. Hotter tomorrow, we're up to 90, and more of that on Tuesday, up to 91. Boating forecast tomorrow, winds south 15 to 20 knots, a little breezy still, seas of 2 to 4 feet, some moderate chop in the bay, and our next tide is going to be a low tide at about 1:30 in the morning. Here's your 7-day forecast. Rain chances do go down by midweek. Of course, you take the rain chance down this time of the year and it gets hotter. 93 Wednesday and Thursday, and kind of typical August weather with an east wind pattern Friday through next weekend. Hey, Kev.
Hey, Tyler, the Rays had been rolling on this long road trip until their bats went quiet for a while this weekend. You got to see what happened against the Twins in this series finale. And the Bucs certainly didn't show the kind of offense we got used to seeing last season in their first preseason game. We're going to check in with Bruce Arians, who tells us the top things he's looking for in their second preseason test against the Titans.
Fox 13 News keeps you informed around the clock. But if you can't watch us here, use the Fox 13 News app to catch up on local news. The Fox 13 News app is available on all Apple and Android devices. Download it now.
Well, the Bucs have to make their first cuts to get to their roster to 85 by Tuesday. Today, after 9 days on the road, the Rays are back at home finally this week, starting with a 4-game series with the Orioles tomorrow night.
Welcome back, Rays.
Yes, finally in their own beds.
Yes, thanks, Kev. Well, new at 11, a girl in Illinois is getting her birthday wish granted, but it's not for herself. She's making special boxes to deliver to food pantries in her community. Fox's Natalie Baumke shows us how the girl is making a difference, one care package at a time. Well, that is a special young lady. Still ahead, a pandemic predicament for college students. Some are finding out their assigned roommates are not vaccinated. What students should do if they find themselves in this situation and they're unhappy about it. Next. Plus, the $1 trillion infrastructure bill is moving forward. What the funding could mean for Florida. Next.
Something that people may not know about me is that I played baseball from when I was 8 years old all the way into college. I think the most important thing that baseball taught me was teamwork. A team literally becomes your family. It's amazing to see how a simple game like baseball can change your life.
You're watching the Fox 13 11 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Florida would get more than $13 billion to upgrade roads and bridges under the bipartisan infrastructure plan. It also includes support and benefits for agriculture and farming communities that don't get as much attention. Craig Patrick sat down with U.S. Agriculture Commissioner Tom Vilsack for details, and that is tonight's round of money, power, and politics. Fire danger is still high in parts of the West that are dealing with fast-moving wildfires. Firefighters worked through extreme heat today, to battle California's largest wildfire. As Fox's Phil Keating shows us, that's just one of 100 large fires burning out west. 2 American tourists are facing charges for presenting fake vaccine cards on their trip to Hawaii. Officials at the Honolulu airport caught the 2 travelers last weekend. The men are accused of violating the state's Safe Travels program, which requires people to show a negative COVID test or proof of vaccination to bypass a 10-day mandatory quarantine. The Attorney General's office says this is the first time someone was arrested for falsifying vaccine documents. The men could face up to $5,000, a fine, or up to a year in prison. Graduating high school and going to college is, well, it's an exciting time for students. But for some teens, that excitement is being overshadowed by concerns over COVID. And that was the case for this freshman who found out his roommate was not vaccinated and had no plans to get the shot. Fox's Bill Miston shows us what students can do if they're put in this unique position. Well, the University of Wisconsin is offering incentives in an effort to try and boost vaccination rates on campus. Students who go to one of UW locations that reach 70% vaccination rates may be eligible for a scholarship. An Atlanta mother is accusing her daughter's school of segregating classrooms. She claims the school's principal made class assignments based in part upon race. And as Fox's Eric Perry reports, she's now taking the matter to court. Many Americans know hospital bills can be expensive. It's exactly why this photo is now going viral, how it struck up a debate about the price of becoming a parent. Next.
Maybe you can't be a movie star, but your home can.
They were looking for locations and left a flyer and a business card on my door.
See how your Bay Area friends and neighbors are cashing in on the craze.
$1,500 per day to, I've seen about $5,000 per day.
Tomorrow on the Fox 13 10 o'clock news.
Delivering a baby is a beautiful moment, but it can also be very expensive. A bill from the 50s is showing just how much the price of delivery has changed over the years. This Reddit post is going viral, with social media users shocked by how much it cost to deliver a baby in the 50s. The post shows a picture of a bill from a birth and a 3-night hospital stay in Kansas from 1955. The total, $60. $60. So if you adjust for inflation, that will be equivalent to about $610 in 2021. We know that's not the case. The average hospital birth these days costs at least $5,000. Wow. Well, we are in the age of technology, but many people are going back in time. First, there was an uptick in vinyl record sales. Now, typewriters. Fox's Joe Tillman shows us why the old school tool is making a comeback. Remember whiteout, though? If you're interested in buying a typewriter, you may be able to find one at your local thrift store, and some local businesses are dedicated to selling them, like Tampa Typewriter Company and the Paper Seahorse in Soho. Tinder can help humans find a love connection, and now the dating app is helping dogs find a new home. Many are deciding to bring a furry friend into their lives during the pandemic, and one animal shelter in Germany is testing out a clever way to find the perfect match. The shelter shoots portraits of dogs and cats and puts their pictures on Tinder, but they're not just putting cute kittens or cute puppies on the app. They're focusing on pets who have a history, a story.
It was important to us to highlight that there aren't only lonely souls among humans, but there are also a lot of lonely souls among animals.
So far, it's working. The shelter says some people are swiping right on the pets and calling the shelter to get information about the pet profiles. People who are interested will be interviewed and then invited to the facility to continue the adoption process. Well, some people go well into their adulthood before finding their niche, their thing. But this young girl in Philadelphia found hers at 8 years old. This girl, named Lily, is a pro at cutting hair. And now she's competing in a big competition for barbers. Fox's Bill Rohrer shows us how she got her start as a stylist. And you can follow Lily along in her career by following her on Instagram using the handle Laced by Lily. What do you think about that, Kev? She's talented.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I think I'd sit in the chair and let her cut my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not, right? She's doing a good job. Well, could Bruce Arians be thinking about sitting his starters Saturday night against the Titans? I'm going to tell you coming up. And, you know, he turned in the play of the game for the Bucs against the Bengals. Joe Jones could be moving up the depth chart after this pick six, his first touchdown since high school. We're going to hear from the Bucs' new linebacker who's hoping to find a spot on this Super Bowl roster coming up next.
Fox 13's Laura Moody helps you make every day a good day.
When you hear the boom of thunder and lightning lights up the night, count on the power of Fox 13's Sky Tower radar.
Well, Bruce Arians didn't have a lot to get giddy about after reviewing the video of the Bucs' first preseason game. He thought the tackling was some of the worst he's ever seen. This game really was more about the backups than the starters, and we could see more of that on Saturday night against the Titans. You know, Arians indicated today that he may hold out most of the starters if they get good enough work in against Tennessee, with the 2 inter-squad practices on Wednesday and Thursday against the Titans. And after their day off today, the Bucs are back at training camp tomorrow afternoon for their first afternoon workout, if weather cooperates. Otherwise, they're going to be heading inside their indoor facility, which is nice to have now.
Yes, it is. That was my favorite play of the game, too, that interception.
Yeah, good stuff.
Fun. Thanks, Kev. Well, he rides big rigs, but that's not his only skill. The inspiring way this dancing trucker got his start. Next. A truck driver is on a mission to bring others joy through his fancy footwork. At first glance, John Drury might just be another truck driver, but when he is not in 16-wheelers, he's shaking his groove thing in between pit stops. Drury told the Journal News it all started about 10 years ago when he started taking dance and Zumba classes. He ended up losing 100 pounds, and ever since, he's been inspired to bring joy and happiness to others. Looks like it's doing the trick. His videos have racked up more than 6 million likes on TikTok. He's fun. Well, for more news, follow us on Twitter. And the news is always on at fox13news.com. Good day starts at 4 a.m. Until then, have a great night, everyone.